Hello, friends and homeschooling mamas out there. Today's episode is the 3 biggest mistakes that I made as a homeschooling mom. And I'm talking about this because if you will pay attention and learn from my mistakes, you won't have to make them. And some of these, it took me years to figure out. And once I did, it just brought so much less stress to our days. And so I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with the third and then move to the first biggest mistake. So be sure to stick around for that one because it is huge. Okay. The third biggest mistake I made as a new homeschooling mom was trying to repeat or replicate, if you will, the classroom at home. I tried to bring school home. It was the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. My daughter was 6 years old. I had been an English teacher, high school teacher. And so I was very much in the classroom mentality. And when I decided to homeschool, I was so excited, but I just was being so silly. I brought a little desk into her room. I made a bulletin board with a caterpillar on it, a bulletin board for her room beside her desk. And she sat there all prim and proper, and that didn't go very well. And so I know and I understand a lot of you out there, you want to create this, you want to do school, but do it better. But try to think outside of the box of a classroom because a classroom is not the best place to learn. It's restrictive and it's just not a place that is super conducive to learning. So don't think for a minute that you have to do that. And in my opinion, it's best if you don't. We have now, and it's fine to have a dedicated space for learning. I think that's great. If that's what you and your kids want. We now have just a library. I'm in our library right now. You can only see part of it, but that's all. My kids will just get their work in the mornings, and some will sit at the table. Some will hang out on the couch, and now that the weather is so beautiful, several of them enjoy doing their work in the hammock outside. So homeschooling affords that liberty. Use that liberty, okay? The second mistake I made as a homeschooling mom is acting or treating all of my kids as if they were the same and assuming they all needed to learn the same thing. And we get this mentality from our own experience in school, from the standard curriculum we were used to having. We just had this idea that every child needs to learn the same thing. But if you think about that, that doesn't make sense. There are basic things that everyone needs to learn. That's why at once upon a time it was called the 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic. There are some basic things. After that, we have a whole universe, a whole world to learn about. We can't possibly learn it all. So why limit each child to the same exact subjects and things? We're vastly different people and we're learning all the time. So allow them to explore the things that they want to learn. And here's another little bonus tip for you. When you think that you are solely responsible for teaching your kids everything they need to know, and you've got 18 years to do it, and if you don't do it right, and if you don't do it thoroughly, they're going to be doomed for life. That is a myth. That is a myth. We start learning the minute we're born, and we never stop learning. And if you think about your own experience, you know this to be true. I have learned so much more in my adult life than I ever learned in school. Okay, so it's not all on us. And so if you can understand that, it will just take a lot of the stress off of you. It's not all on you. Our kids are miraculous creatures, and we all are. We all are just, we're learning and we're sponges, and a lot of what they're going to learn on their own naturally. So let that go and relax a little bit. We follow a method of relaxed homeschooling, by the way. And if you're interested in that, I did a little course on it. I'll drop the link in the description. It'll change your life, especially if you're stressed about homeschooling and you feel like you're not doing enough or you're scared, you're not doing it the right way. I have, for us, found that relaxed homeschooling is just a great alternative to what you might think of as the traditional model versus maybe unschooling, which is letting, just completely not following any plan. And so check that out if you want. Like I said, it'll be in the description. But the number one biggest mistake I made as a homeschooling mom was treating the academic portion of our school as if that were the sum total of what it is to educate my kids, okay? And then we all do that. We think, oh, we're going to homeschool. What is homeschooling? I'm going to educate my kids. What is educate my kids? I've got to teach them all these subjects. That is the sum total, and if I fail at that, it's going to be a disaster, and my kids are going to be failures in life. No, the academic part of educating is just a small part. Education is the development of a whole person, and it happens both organically and intentionally, and it covers everything from learning how to resolve conflict, learning how to relate to people in relationships. Emotional intelligence is part of what makes up an education. Learning how to take care of pets and people, and learning how to create, build, design, problem solve. It's who a person is as far as their character, how their character develops. I could keep going. I mean, an education is huge. And the academic part of it, the subjects that you feel like you need to teach, that's only a tiny part of what makes a person successful, educated, or not. So again, if you can remember that, then it helps you to understand that your child's success does not rest squarely on your shoulders. You are there as a guide. You are there to encourage them, to provide resources to them. Most of what they're going to learn on their own. They're going to learn because they're interested. They're going to learn because they are driven for some particular reason, or because they need to learn something. So let's just provide a rich environment for our kids, lots of things for them to read and look at and discover, lots of experiences, and just let them do what they do naturally. And I promise you, you're going to be okay.